So the question is, do you know the best way to build a medical billing business? Well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, the best way to do that, and that is to be a part, obviously be a part of American Business Systems. And why is that? Because again, we have 30 years to back up our successes and the successes of our business owners. And it all started with right here, as you can see here, we want to teach you to build your business with proven solutions. That's so important. Why is that important? Because, folks, if you think about it, if you go right outside the gate today and say, you know what, I'd like to get started in medical billing. I've done maybe some medical billing in the past. Maybe I've had some healthcare. Maybe I don't know anything about medical billing, but you know what? I feel like I can try to go do this on my own. Well, we would agree that everybody can go try and do this on their own. But we have many different solutions. Now, I'll also pause here just real quickly to let you know that there are obviously other business opportunities in medical billing out there. And we have chosen to do things a lot differently than maybe some of these other folks. And that is, as I mentioned earlier, we have many different solutions that we can help you with. Because so, folks, what our main goal is help make sure you get trained and supported for the lifetime as you stay in this business. But what comes along with that is that support of all these different solutions, as I'm going to show you here on the next screen. And that is everything from iClaim to EMRX to Quick Collect, Audit Guard, CodeWrite, Virtual Care, Compliancy Guard, ChoicePay, AutoCard, Credentials Now, and then Dynamax. All right, so when you step out of wanting to try to start let's just call it what it is, a medical revenue cycle management company. Obviously, that is what we know as medical billing. And it is a good industry to be in because there is a lot of growth still here happening in revenue cycle management. And why do I know that? Because as I mentioned to you earlier on as we started off on the webinar today, that I'm actually helping coach a current ABS business owner right now and helping that individual get to their first client. And just this week, we've gotten some communication out. I was actually one to help deliver some information to a particular doctor. And just tomorrow, this is what's so cool. Tomorrow afternoon, I've got a call with that doctor for and with this ABS business owner. So this is really cool. This is all happening in real time. So do you want to know whether we can help you get a client? Absolutely. We're here to help coach you along the way. But what gives us our strong stability to be able to do this are these solutions. So one of the things that a lot of people are concerned with in the very beginning are going to be what's known as the medical codes. How can I quickly join American Business Systems and already get launched into kind of having everything that I need? Well, you probably have some folks that say, if you're going to get involved in this, you're going to need to have some background in medical billing. You're probably going to have to go to a school. You're probably going to have to learn all these codes. Those will happen as time goes on. We're here to coach you along the way. And why is that? Because we're going to give you support that's going to be for a lifetime. All support whenever it comes to codes, to billing, to the vernacular of everything that you're going to need to know, all the acronyms that's going to be out there, whether it's CMS or whatever else that's out there. We're going to help coach you along that way. You will not be left out there not knowing what to say or what to do. But I want to kind of focus in on real quickly about codes, medical codes, because that usually is the scariest part outside of just getting your first client that you feel a little shaky about. I'll give you an example. The ABS business person I'm working with right now felt a little shaky about I don't know everything about medical billing. What happens if the doctor asks me a question and I don't know how to answer that? That's why we're here. We're here to help you, coach you along, and help you get and make sure that you're saying the right things. So when you go through training, you're going to learn exactly what to say, specifically if a doctor says, hey, by the way, I'll just use Ryan here because I see Ryan on here from Florida. Good to have you here this afternoon. Hey, Ryan, why would I use you? And do you do coding? Do you have anybody on staff to say, do you have any codes? Coding. You can say absolutely right out of the bat. We have a full team of certified professional coders that will help you, doctor, if in the event that you really do need somebody to do your coding. Now, let's kind of pull a little bit about the mythology about codes right now. Currently, folks, if you're going to do billing for a doctor, they already are doing their own codes. And why is that? Because many of them are using electronic medical records. Inside an EMR system, those codes are already built inside of there. So it doesn't matter if you're working with a podiatrist or a general doctor, just a regular private practice primary care doctor. If you think about it, a podiatrist is seeing people about feet. And what has to happen, folks, is that the doctor has to obviously ask questions to that patient and say, tell me what's wrong with your feet. The doctor's finally going to look at the feet and say, yep, that is a ulcer on your feet, or we need to invite a toenail there, or whatever. There's something that needs to happen there. And the doctor already knows what the diagnosis is. They only have a handful of diagnosis codes already. But then they have another thing that's called what's called the procedure code. So the doctor knows what procedure they're going to do. And so doctors already know these codes. So typically, most doctors that you're going to do billing for are already doing all their own coding. Now, it doesn't mean that there are new codes that come about at times. Those happen all the time. And so what CodeWrite is there for is if there are some things that need to happen, and as you can see specifically on this particular flyer that is going to be part of your marketing campaign, it shows to optimize reimbursement and bulletproof compliance. Now, what does that mean? Well, sometimes the doctors need to make sure that they're using the proper code. So we may run a few of their notes through our code people, our certified professional coders through the CodeWrite program, just to make sure that they know that they're coding properly. That's all that it is. But typically, again, that's what the doctors already know what they're doing. However, let's talk about another side of coding. As I mentioned to you, there are two types of codes that are out there. There's one that's called the diagnosis code. That's what's wrong with you. So if you go into a primary care and you say, you know what, I feel like I've broken my arm, or I've got this cough or whatever, they already know that ailment is going to be tied to what's called a diagnosis code. And it's typically going to be an alphanumeric code, okay? Like an R12, I think is a cough. I think I'm pulling that right out of the top of my head there. I think that's what it is. But again, the doctors already know that. But if they're putting it in their electronic medical records that Erica's coming in with a cough, a lot of times those new programs that are out there for electronic medical records, it's already given the doctor some suggestions of what diagnosis codes to use. So there's this whole library built inside of all of this now. So that's not a big deal. Where it is a big deal, though, is what's called the procedure code. The procedure code, folks, is the code that actually tells the insurance company how much to reimburse the doctor. I call the procedure code the money code, okay? So why is this so important? Because typically medical billing companies don't really dive into the revenue side of codes. And what I mean by that is, remember, you're going to be certified as a certified medical revenue manager. There's nothing in there that says you're a certified medical biller. What you are is a certified medical revenue manager. And so what does that mean? You're there to help increase the doctor's revenue. So there may be an opportunity to use Audit Guard with this doctor. And why is that? We might find out that that doctor is not utilizing the correct procedure code and making sure that they're getting the ultimate of what they can actually get on their reimbursements. Now, you have to make sure that the doctor has adequate enough notes, and there's some other things that have to happen there. So a lot of our business owners might lead out with a brand new doctor and say, hey, doctor, before I take over your billing from your previous billing company, or if you've had it in your office, we might want to run some of your claims through, or your charts through our service called Audit Guard, to make sure that you are coding properly. Because one of the two things that could happen, the doctor could be overcoding, putting at risk money that the insurance companies like Medicare might want to take back, or what is known in the industry, claw back some money. But then on the other side, what if the doctors aren't utilizing the correct procedure code and there is what is known as undercoding, which means that they're not getting enough of the revenue that is supported with their nodes. So this is so important in thinking about what you do and how you're going to build your business. So the reason I'm starting off with this part of it is because I want you to understand that we have the proven solutions to help you build your business right out of the gate. Okay. And with that, I'm going to move to another section right here, which is called Compliancy Guard. Compliancy Guard has to do with HIPAA. Now, this is a great way to go out there and get and land probably one of the first one or two of your clients, and that is to simply go in there and offer your services about HIPAA compliancy. And one of the most violated parts of any particular practice, obviously HIPAA compliancy. I don't know if you've ever been to the doctor and you go there and you look at there and there's charts all over the front desk and there's charts back behind there and there's open charts and you see people's names on it and you might see one of the doctor's staff back there typing on Facebook or anything, and there are certain rules about telephones or cell phones being back behind that glass area in that area, because any time that cell phone is around there, there's a potential that obviously could happen and information gets transmitted outside of that doctor's office. So what if we were able to teach you to walk into a doctor's office and not even ask them whether you could do their billing, but just simply by building trust with that doctor, walk in there and say, hey, I'd like to talk with your compliancy officer, your HIPAA compliancy officer today. A lot of times they're going to freak out because they're thinking that they've done something wrong already. But really what you're trying to do is say nothing more that, you know what, I'd like to make sure, since we've turned over to 2024, that you got all of your HIPAA rules, you got everybody educated, re-educated with all the new rules that happen with that. So Compliancy Guard really simplifies all the compliance tracking, as you can see here, that little block over there, which it satisfies HIPAA and high-tech risk assessment requirements. And they are requirements. These are not something that the doctors can go, oh, I'll get to it later. I mean, these infractions could cost the doctor up to $10,000 to $20,000 per infraction. Do you not think that's included in their revenue? So that's what I'm trying to say, folks. We've got the building blocks for you to literally go out from training within the next couple of weeks and literally start marketing your business, whether you're going to do it. And I'll show you some of the areas of way that you can get out there and let people know about what you do. You're going to have tools that not all medical billing companies have, and not really any other billing business opportunities have out there. Folks, I don't know of another business opportunity out there that has anything to do with virtual care, which has to do with helping doctors with a service that they can actually remote monitor their patients, whether it's blood pressures or pulse oximeters, or if they got some patients that are diabetics and they need a glucometer, and get those readings directly to the doctor's offices and their nursing staff. And if they're out of range, now that doctor's office can actually contact that patient and say, hey, looks like you're a little bit out of whack here. How can I help you? You talk about a great service for a doctor to be able to do for their patients. And then in that process, they get to bill for that particular call. Well, what is that doing? It's generating more revenue. So I'm hoping I'm raising your sights here up a little bit of knowing how you can actually go out there and build your business. I'm going to go through some more of these real quickly. We got Quick Collect, again, with doctors not knowing what to do about their accounts receivables and their past due stuff. Instead of sending a patient, obviously, to collections or anything, we have all of these different services out there. So again, we have all of these different services I'll show you right here already. I love what Patrick used to say when we were doing these webinars together. He says, this is just your business in a box. You know, and another thing that he would share a lot of times one-on-one with people, he would say this, take what we have here at ABS. Use my business to build your business. Patrick, Adam, the Patrick Phillips family, the Adams Phillips family here, they've been successful at this for over 30 years, folks. It's okay to hop on their coattails and have that same type of success. Now, the other thing, the way that we're going to show you how to build your business is to build your business by educating your doctors. You're going to go, how in the world can I educate doctors? They're so smart. Well, doesn't mean that they're business savvy smart. And I hate to say that. I hope I don't offend any doctors that might be on the call or might listen a little bit, but you know what I'm talking about here. Whenever it comes to medicine, I want to go to you, but I don't know if I'd go to you, to some doctors, to get financial help with, because most doctors that we know that we've been able to help, they understand that. And that's not always their specialty. Their specialty is what they went to school for. That's why they outsource this medical billing quite often. And there are lots of them out there who actually outsource their business. But one of the things that you can learn through here, through one of our techniques, is to utilize education through some books. One of the first books that you're going to be able to give to a doctor is what's called The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, what's interesting with that is I don't know if you can see down in the little, before you read that little section over to the left, look over at the little first, the cover of the book where it says New Thriving Medical Practice, and let your eyes go down to where it says, you see where it says Patrick Phillips and Vicki Rackner, MD. Now that was co-written between Patrick Phillips and Dr. Vicki Rackner. But just underneath that, it says the forward by Tony, and I can't read Tony's last name. It's kind of a hard name to read, but it says CMRM. That stands for Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And inside the book, you would be the one that have written the forward to the book, as I can show you right here on this one. Now, the reason why this is so important is because you're going to take this information and what you've learned from this, because this is like one of your textbooks that you're getting, but you're getting this with all of those flyers that I mentioned to you earlier, and have the opportunity to have your name in the book with your name on the cover of the book for you that have written that we already have a forward that if you'd like to use, you can certainly utilize that. But I want to go back over to this other slide here again, because you can see here that it's got information in it that is going to trigger doctors to thinking, wow, this person knows what they're talking about. This one simply says rejections have held steady at about 30% industry-wide. And that truly is correct. This is the way that doctors are losing money. They're losing money because of claims that are being filed, whether it's by their current medical billing company or by someone in the office. These claims are getting rejected by up to 30%, folks. So not only are they losing money with claims that have been sent out and maybe that they've used the wrong codes and the insurance companies are asking for some of that money back, but on top of that, claims that are actually being processed that could be reimbursed are not being reimbursed because there's an error in that particular claim. And we're going to show you how to reduce that from 30% down to less than 2%. So that's why it's so very important. Now, what I'm going to do for everybody that's on the call today is that I want you to do this. This is a little brief thing that I want you to think about doing today. I want you to contact your business coach that you're working with here at ABS and ask them for a copy, an electronic copy, a PDF of the New Thriving Medical Practice. I can do that for you today. So you can go back and I want you to start studying this book, because this book will actually help you get ready to take our training. But remember, once you're an ABS business owner here and you're starting to go out there, you're going to actually utilize this book to go out there and help build your business. And you're going to be able to educate doctors right along the way and say, hey, doc, let me share with you a few things out of this particular book. And it's very important to you, that's going to help trigger what you're going to want to understand. So we're going to teach you and share with you how to educate doctors simply by the information that's in that particular book, in which, again, you've written the forward to the book. Now, like I said, if you want to get that forward right before we go to print with it, and you want to change some things in it, make it a little bit more personal, you can certainly do that. And our support team will help you do that. As we kind of start wrapping up here in the last about 5 more minutes of this until we get to the bottom of the hour here, I want to share one other thing, and this is so important. I want you to learn how to build your business by generating and letting people know that you are in business. Now, let that sink in for a moment. Don't worry about where it says, the title, it says Build by Strong Networking. that might frighten you a little bit. And I completely understand. Some of you out there may not be worried about that at all. You kind of understand what I'm about to say here. But let me share this with everybody that's on here and those that might listen to it a little bit later. Probably one of the biggest mistakes that any entrepreneur makes out there is that they get everything they put together, websites, business cards, their marketing material, they get t-shirts made, they get all this stuff done, and then they never do anything with it, which means they never go tell anybody that they're in business. Now let that sink in for a moment. You just don't go tell anybody that you're in business. How do you expect a doctor to know that you're in business unless you let other people know about it? So what is networking? Networking, to me, is the best way, and you could talk with a lot of our current business owners right now, and has been the only way that they've ever gotten their first client. Now, you can hear what I said. I didn't say go door to door to doctors. That is an option that you can do. But why just focus on, let me go to this doctor here, hopefully they'll say yes. Let me go to this doctor over here, hopefully they'll say yes. We're talking about throwing a much wider net out there in your community, in your town, in your county. And how are you going to do that? Well, I want you to attend as many business networking groups as possible as quickly as you can. Now, let me tell you, some of the best ones I'm going to share with you are on the screen right now. Business Networking International is an incredible way that you can go out there and let people know that you're in business. Matter of fact, there's a cost to get to join a local chapter, but in your area, you may have 10 or 12 chapters out there. And if you heard a interview that I did with Deandra not too long ago, Deandra Floyd, you can go look it up on our our YouTube channel here in a little bit. You can go back out there and that's what she did, because you can attend at least 2 meetings out of each of those chapters. And if you got 10 in there in your area, that's 20 meetings that you can attend. And she did that with a couple of them. And she got her first couple of clients by going to these places and letting those other business owners of their businesses know that she's in business in medical revenue management. The other one I like is the Chamber of Commerce. That's what a Chamber of Commerce is all about, to let other business people get together, network, and share what they do. Now, why is this so important? Because, folks, other business people are looking for other business people to join, to make business relationships and share contacts with one another. That's why this is so important for you, to let people know that you're in business. I can't guarantee that you're going to get a client out of your first couple of meetings, but I promise you, if you stick with it, someone is going to know of a doctor that is in need of help. And there's no better way to get introduced to a doctor than someone that they already know, like, and trust, to say, hey, I know, and I met this guy or I met this gal at this local business opportunity gathering over here, who says that they might be able to help you with your revenue. Now, wouldn't you like that introduction? So that when you call the doctor, or you send that doctor a text, or you do stop by at that doctor's office, you can say, hey, I'm coming by per the recommendation of the person that I met over at this business meeting to come by and visit with you. And typically, folks, that does actually lead to the next steps of what you need to do. So you talk about building a business quickly, and at that point, it's going to give you opportunities to bring in lunch to the doctor's office. It's going to help you get some opportunities to do some educational events with some of those doctors' offices. It's going to actually help you open the door to go see and visit and do what we call some direct marketing with doctors' offices, because they're expecting you already. But then out of those business networking groups that you might find actually a medical healthcare sales rep in that, who might say, you know what? I know this doctor so well. Let me take some of your stuff and let me make the introduction to you. You may, outside of that meeting, end up having a smaller little group and say, hey, how about if this 4 or 5 of us get together outside of this BNI meeting or this Chamber of Commerce meeting, and let's have coffee and let's see what we can do to strategize, and how can I help you and where can you help me? Get together and build what's called this network of others that can be your champion out there in the marketplace. So folks, when we come down to it, and we're looking for ways to help you build your business here, that's one of the best ways that we're teaching you how to build your medical billing business. First of all, again, it all starts, if you don't have enough solutions, I'm going to kind of just review this real quickly as we kind of start wrapping up here. If you do not have enough solutions out there in the marketplace, you're not going to be able to survive out there. Now, one little failure that a lot of business owners like to do, they want to take all this and throw everything at the doctor. We're going to show you how to pare it down, slow it down. We're going to try to teach you how to slow down, everything that you're trying to say, and not say, hey, I do everything from iClaim to AutoCard. I can do credentials. I can do dental billing. And what happens is that people are going to get confused. And we don't want you to get confused. We just want you to know you have an arsenal of different things that you can actually bring to a doctor's office to help them with with their medical revenue management. Then the other thing is, I mentioned earlier, you're going to want to educate your doctors. And the way you're going to educate your doctors is to utilize these books. These are so powerful, but so powerful that y'all remember just a few years ago during the pandemic, when nobody could get out there and go do any visiting, no networking meetings, no visiting doctors' offices. A lot of our business owners started just mailing these to the doctors, getting clients that way, just getting this into the hands of the doctors via mail. They started getting that. So remember, I want you to reach out to your business coach today and ask for a copy of the New Thriving Medical Practice so that you can begin some of your help right today.